Draw a line for the history of humanity, and almost everyone draws the same shape. A line that starts low, in the dark, with cavemen and ignorance, and climbs steadily, upward all the way to us. To now, to the top. It's a comforting picture, a staircase, and we're standing on the highest step. The biggest misunderstanding about human history wasn't believing that the past was primitive. It was believing that history was always leading to us. Because that line is not a line, and we are not the top of it. History has erased entire technologies, forgotten civilizations, and knowledge that disappeared, forcing later generations to rediscover what had already once been known. That's the shape we rarely see. Let's look at what actually happens. We imagine progress as a single arrow always pointing forward, but real history isn't an arrow, it's a landscape. It rises and it falls, and it rises somewhere else. It takes turns nobody planned. And the falls are real. Knowledge doesn't just accumulate, it can be lost. Think about that word, lost. Not improved on, not replaced with something better. Lost. Known by someone and then known by no one. It has happened over and over. There was a device built by Greek hands more than 2,000 years ago that could model the motion of the sun, the moon, and the planets with interlocking bronze gears. A mechanical model of the sky. Nothing of that complexity would be built again for over 1,000 years. The knowledge to make it didn't evolve into something greater. It sank to the bottom of the sea and out of human memory, and the world simply went without it for a millennium. Consider concrete. The Romans built harbors, domes, and structures that are still standing after 2,000 years, some of them stronger now than the day they were poured. When Rome fell, the recipe went with it. For roughly 1,000 years, Europe could not build the way the Romans had. The technique had to be painstakingly rediscovered, almost from nothing. This is not a story about one empire, it's a pattern. There was a weapon used by the Byzantine Empire that could burn on water. It terrified their enemies for centuries. It was guarded as such an absolute secret that the formula was split between only a handful of people, and when the empire fell, it died with them. We still don't know exactly how it was made, and there were people who crossed the largest ocean on the planet with no instruments at all. Polynesian navigators found tiny islands scattered across thousands of miles of empty Pacific, steering by the stars, the swell of the waves, the flight of birds, an entire science of the open sea carried only in memory and taught by voice. It was so nearly lost in the last century that people had to race to record it before the last navigators were gone. And it goes far beyond single inventions. Whole cities were swallowed by the jungle. Entire writing systems went silent, some still unreadable today. Libraries holding the thought of whole civilizations burned, and the ideas inside them were simply gone. Each time, the people living through the loss did not feel like they were falling. Right up until the end, they felt like the top of the staircase. Just like we do. If you're finding this as fascinating and unsettling as I am, subscribe. This is exactly the kind of story this channel exists to tell. So why do we still see history as a straight climb? Part of it is a trick of position. We are standing at the most recent point in time, holding the most tools anyone has ever held. From up here, every previous era looks like a step on the way to where we're standing. We read the whole past as a runway built to launch us, but every generation felt that way. The Romans didn't think of themselves as the middle of the story. They thought they were the end of it, the civilized peak, with everyone before them as preparation. So did empires that rose and fell long before Rome, and left even less behind. We are not the destination of history. We are only one moment in it. And here is the part that actually matters. None of this means progress isn't real. It is. We live longer, understand more, and build things our ancestors couldn't imagine. The misunderstanding isn't believing in progress. It's believing progress happens automatically. It doesn't. Every advance you benefit from was made by someone, and then kept alive by someone else, and then taught, protected, copied, and carried forward across generations who could have let it slip and didn't. Knowledge is not a possession. It's a relay. And a relay only continues as long as someone keeps running. The bronze gears sank because a chain of hands stopped passing them on. The concrete was lost because the people who knew it died faster than they could teach it. The navigators almost vanished because a way of knowing that lived only in memory nearly ran out of people to remember it. Progress isn't a law of nature like gravity. It's a decision, remade constantly by every generation that chooses to hold on to what it was given and add to it instead of letting it fall. Which puts us in an interesting position. Everything we have feels permanent, but every civilization before us thought the same thing. That's not a prediction that we're about to fall. It's something quieter and more useful than fear. It means the climb we're standing on top of was never automatic. It was built step by step by people who mostly never saw the top. And it stays standing only because each generation keeps choosing to carry it and to build the next step, rather than assuming the stairs will hold themselves up. The past wasn't a rough draft leading up to us, and we are not the final version leading up to nothing. We are one more set of hands on one more step, holding something enormous that we were handed, and deciding whether we realize it or not, how much of it reaches whoever comes next. That's the real shape of human history, not a staircase with us at the top. A relay still running, and we're the ones holding the baton right now.